But that's the thing. I think it would have been more fun if she stayed alive knowing that
Yes,
secret. You
yes.
know?
We can't have fun things in this show, I guess.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to No Drama, Just Movies, and we are back this week with another TV review. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned with all the content we release each and every week in the world of TV and movies. My name is Cameron, nothing like a Game of Thrones style sex scene, Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
I'm Phil, nothing shy about this halud, Corwin.
Oh, that's right now. And if you haven't guessed it already, we are here to review episode 2 of the HBO original Dune Prophecy. So let's jump right in. 1 week after the debut, I felt like we were pretty high on the debut episode. We were intrigued, at least shall we say, it hooked us, and that was enough. Now here we are, week 2, episode 2 out of 6, I believe. What are your thoughts?
Ah, no, no. It's. I kept saying for like the penguin, it needed to convince me. Like this is going the opposite way. It's trying. It's trying. It's starting to lose me, I think. So I needed to like go. Penguin. It's things in order and like win me back because I'm slipping. Um,
Why is it starting to lose you? Let's hop right in. Why?
yeah. Well, 'cause for me, it felt like there's not enough meat. And even like
And we
jumping
like
on
meat.
root. Because like speaking of meat, you mentioned the Game of Thrones style sex scene. Like you watch Game of Thrones and the sex scenes, yes, they're hot and stuff, but there's also shit happening, right? They mean something because there's always like some conversations like sex position. Um, but here it's yes, they're exchanging information as well, but it felt a bit like a bit soft to use that phrase.
Hmm.
Um, but it's everything is a little bit more meh, mid. There's not enough like meat's not enough to like hang on to, and but we can get into specifics as well a little later. But like I felt like it saved all that good stuff for the ending. It like really like jumped from a 5 to 100 towards the end.
Hmm.
Um, but like I want this for the whole episode. It doesn't have to be 100 all the way through, but like give me a 20, give me a 50 somewhere in the middle of something.
Yeah.
Like do something. But what are your thoughts like overall and like obviously more specifically, we'll get into like what we like from
Everything. Well, look, Dune Part One and Dune Part Two, right? The movies are to me as close to a modern day masterpiece as you can get. They are elite, and there is very few movies and TV shows in that camp. And when this show was first announced, I was so excited.
Hmm.
The idea of finding more about the Bene Gesserit and the lore and the secrets in regards to their power and the prophecy and everything, that was something that was really exciting to me. And one of the things that I did not expect and that I did not want was seeing this TV show and feeling like that it was the little brother, that it was the amateur version of Dune, that it didn't feel like it was in the same class as Dune. And after this second episode, it started to feel like that for me.
Hmm.
This is a story to me that should be compelling, but it doesn't feel very compelling. And I said last week that, I wanted to find out more about the Bene Gesserit, and that was what was exciting about it to me. However, I don't really feel like I'm learning more about the Bene Gesserit so far. I feel like I'm kind of learning or going through exactly what I already knew. And so now it's kind of taken some of that
Hmm.
excitement away from me because it's like, oh, I mean, was that it then? Maybe what I hoped or theorized could be the history of the Bene Gesserit actually isn't there. And obviously, I know that I think this is partly inspired by a book, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. But it just isn't really there. I think that Valya is still a very intriguing character and she's well played. And I would like to see more of her. Obviously, as you said, that scene at the end between Valya and Desmond, obviously, a huge highlight because we've never seen someone rebuke the voice in that way, besides, good old Paul kind of thing. But we've never seen that happen. And I'm still very intrigued to see what power scale or what power system Desmond has and, what the Sandworm potentially did do to him, if that's the case, or if he's actually lying and something else happened entirely. It started to look very CW at certain times because you have that scene, which I guess is intriguing in theory, when Lila is given the worm sperm juice, and she's speaking to what she believes is Raquella, but it's actually Dorothea, and I don't know if maybe Dorothea that's maybe her, she is somehow maybe linked to Desmond. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the idea is that the sisterhood she's trying to break up the sisterhood from within. I don't know, but that whole sequence with all of the people in white and kind of jumping on her in this black cave, it felt it didn't look good at all, in my opinion.
I did like that scene. I did like the scene with Dorothea, Raquella slash woman. Because it had a lot more horror elements, and I liked the effect of her, like her face, like crumbling apart. What I didn't so much like is that I don't think it meant anything. Like this is, I think, where Lila finds out that Valya made Dorothea kill herself, right?
Yeah,
But her reaction, she has no reaction to it, I think, unless I was like I missed something.
and it
Um,
looks like she died, right?
yes. So like
Which
nothing.
why?
It was too much. Like this whole fucking agony thing was too much for her, and she couldn't stand it.
But that's the
So,
thing. I think it would have been more fun if she stayed alive knowing that
yes,
secret. You
yes.
know?
We can't have fun things in this show, I guess. Um, and I think that's my point. Like the sisters are not interesting at all right now. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned Desmond. Like Desmond is damn fascinating. He's, I guess, the guy at the end of the first episode is like kneeling in front of the worm, and then the worm comes. And here, if we find out that he's been swallowed by the worm, and it gave him superpowers that allow him to like burn people with his mind or some shit. And he's like loyal to the Empire, and he's like an assassin for the Emperor. And I'm like, give us that story. Like, give us the story of this dude. I don't care about the sisters anymore. And if you have a show about the sisterhood that makes this one guy more interesting, then you're doing something wrong.
Mm.
And like I don't know, like all these names of these sisters, and like we get a little bit of this sister, a little bit of that sister, and I've no idea who these people are. I can barely remember their names. I have to like look them up constantly.
Same.
Um, but I think it's because I try to think like why. I think it's because we don't know much about them. They're all like introduced as like a group,
A
right?
collective, yeah.
Exactly. Meanwhile, we've got individual Desmond, we've got individual Emperor. We know what he's all about. We know what's his face, Chase is all about. But with the sisterhood, it feels like Valya is the only one who has like a clear goal,
Yeah.
only one with an actual character, and that's not enough. Especially when we spend so much time with all the others. But is there anything you liked about this episode?
Yeah, I mean, once again, Mark Strong. Like,
Okay.
he is just a delight to watch. Like, he is one of the only few characters that does feel quite truthful and honest, and you can kind of relate and understand where he's coming from. But I think it's because his arc and his character is rooted in something that actually makes more sense and is a bit more compelling and understandable. And obviously his thing with Desmond. I still do like this idea of Desmond and what's going on there, and him trying to come for the sisterhood and trying to come for the Bene Gesserit. I am still intrigued to see how that plays out and what it
Mhm.
is, if this is indeed the threat that Sister Raquel or Mother Raquel, whatever they call themselves, that this is the one that she was warning. Is it Talia? Yep, Talia, isn't it? Or Valya, sorry. Oh
Oh yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
That she's warning Valya about. I still am intrigued to see that. But I think one of the things as well that is quite disappointing about this show is the subplots or the side characters.
Mm.
They're not very exciting. Like, for example, you have Kieran Atreides, right? And you hear the name Atreides, and it's like, oh, and I guess there kind of had to be an Atreides at some point. But
Yeah.
I mean, wow, I mean, this guy's an Atreides? Like, I mean, and I don't know how close he is in the lineage in terms of like if he's just a side guy, like a cousin or something, but I can't remember. But like, and now he's got this side plot where he's kind of trying to allow, I guess, help with the rebellion to infiltrate the Imperium, and I guess that's kind of interesting. I mean, the one thing that I will end on is that I am concerned because of the fact that I do remind myself that this is a 6 episode series, and if by next week or by the fourth episode we don't start kicking
Yeah.
into gear, then we kind of know where we're going. And but I still have hope. I do have hope. Anything else you wanna say
Um,
before we wrap up?
yeah, I did like when the Emperor, not the Duke, the Emperor makes a speech to the Duke, like after the Duke complains, I guess, and wants to take his fleets away. And he has this like he's suddenly very strong and authoritative, and then the door opens and Valya comes in, and she's the only one who's allowed to like interrupt the Emperor or gets to interrupt the Emperor. You can feel that she's a little bit like the power the Bene Gesserit, or like the proto Bene Gesserits, I guess, have like the sisterhood has. That they're so they can interrupt the Emperor and he can't do anything about it. So that was intriguing. So I like Valia, I think, as a character. Tula's there as well somehow, but only as an extension of her. But yeah, Valia is the only one intriguing, and I kind of want to see where that goes. And I like that ending. I think you mentioned it as well before, with her and Desmond. I think that's going to be a very fascinating conflict, especially
Mm,
if he can withstand or like is immune to the voice. And like I loved her like look of kind of fear,
mm.
fear like when
And
she
his
was
line as well, right? I can't remember the line of dialogue he gave her, but like it was such a cool line. But he was basically saying that, now I've actually seen what you fear. It's not the idea
Hmm.
of people not listening to you. Something else he says
Ah,
after that. But it was such a cool line.
but yeah, it got really good at the end. And we're obviously going to watch the next one. But I'm with you on that. This was episode 2 in an only 6 episode show. It is like so far about an hour per episode, so they have a bit more time to play with. But they really need to like give us something in the next episode because that's the midpoint, and something has to actually happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that will do it for our review of episode 2 of Dune Prophecy. Well, let's give this episode a icy review score out of 10. My dear friend, what will you give it?
I'm going to give it a very kind 5 out of 10. I felt a bit more neutral about this one, a little bit annoyed at other points where it just like didn't go where I hoped it would. Um, but it's yeah, like I said at the beginning, it's starting to lose me. And if the next episode is not like giving me something, I'm going to be really disappointed in this Dune series. It's Dune. I absolutely love the 2 films. And I'm like, wanted something equally good. It didn't have to have the same like special effects because it's a show, but like give us a story, give us a meaty fucking story. So 5 out of 10 for this.
Well, you're going with 5 ices out of 10. I'm going with 5.5 ices out of 10. And the only reason for the point 5 is simply because it still has my intrigue.
Yeah.
However, this episode as a whole, yeah, it didn't have the meat, it didn't have the juice in the steak, as we call it. But that will do it for our review of episode 2 of the HBO original Dune Prophecy. Once again, if you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give this video a like, comment, share, drop down in that comment section below and let us know your thoughts of episode 2 of Dune Prophecy. My name is Cameron. There's nothing like a Game of Thrones style sex scene, Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
I'm Phil. Nothing shy about this halud, Corwin.
That's right. Well, we are on our way. However, for you dirty dogs out there, do not try and tempt us with your worm sperm juice because we will say no unless it actually does give us powers. So that will do us for our review of episode 2 of Dune Prophecy, and we will see you very, very soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.